say searching for love is like searching for yourself. When you find yourself, you find love because they're the same.
So the last time I appeared on camera for this channel, I was really nothing more than just a lonely, isolated college student with some ideas to share online. And I like making videos about YouTubers I like to watch, and also like to talk about my personal life and my past as well. I would make videos like about growing up chronically online, bullying, loneliness, my experience at a troubled teen group home. Now, these characteristics I said about myself, like being lonely, isolated, feeling connected to YouTube and commentary culture, they're all still true, but I have changed significantly in the past 10 months. So really what this was, I, this year, attempted to sue a group of alleged, I'm going to say alleged, I have to be careful here, alleged human traffickers in civil court. And although I had filed a lawsuit a couple months before I had actually taken a break from uploading, the lawsuit hadn't begun to ramp up in its intensity and scale until about 6 or 7 months ago. And during this intense period, my entire life was consumed by the lawsuit. Not a day would go by where I would go without thinking of it. And to be more specific, I was suing the owners and the people affiliated with a now defunct troubled teen group home. Now, as a 20-year-old with nothing but a small YouTube channel and an apartment and school, this experience changed me forever. It showed me that with the right people and with the right guidance, it's possible for almost anyone to make a tremendous impact on a certain sector of society, and a positive one at that. But all the while, upsetting a group of powerful actors with significant resources, especially in comparison to my own, brought on a level of stress and pressure I've never experienced before. And I don't think I can return to YouTube without making a video about the thing that's weighed so heavily on me this year. So, let's talk about it. Fall in Utah is wonderful, even if I'm still in Utah. I'll say that much. There goes another sports, and there goes 2 sports cars. Oh my god. Come on, let me make a YouTube video. It's been 10 months. So I should start by explaining what this lawsuit was about. So in an earlier video I made, I talked about when I was sent to a troubled teen group home. It was in Wyoming. I hated it there. I hated every minute of it. And we did forced to do a lot of terrible stuff there. But it's a fairly dark period of my life, but I was able to survive through it, and it's been a while since I've been there. But as I've grown up and learned, I've realized what's really happened to me there, and so I decided to take the owners of that group home to court for what they had done to me. The lawsuit itself, I was suing the owners of the group home as well as the group home itself, and then I was also suing the owners of a company that transported me from my room. I was kidnapped from my room at 1 a.m. when I was 14. Now, at first, this lawsuit was fairly calm and small, and I hadn't quite comprehended the scale at which it was going to become, or even what it was at first when I had sued. It was just kind of going back and forth, boring paperwork stuff. And then something happened with my lawsuit, where it got to the point where a bunch of news sources out of Montana and South Dakota, and I think Wyoming as well, wrote a bunch of articles about that group home with my name in it, and then it started to get heated where there was things fell back and forth. But when I saw the fact that I alone was taking on small businesses, LLCs, families, I mean, there were other people in this lawsuit too. There were other companies with different names in it. I mean, it was me versus a bunch of relatively powerful and, in my opinion, bad people. To see that alongside the fact that my full name was up on this many news websites to see of what I had done, it forced me to finally comprehend the scale of what I had done, the scale of the lawsuit, how big it was, that it was garnering publicity relative to my life, and it increased. When you do this, when you take on a civil lawsuit, and especially when it's against these types of people, and especially when you're only 20 years old, it puts a level of pressure on you that is like unprecedented. I've never felt so pressured or under, or being like, that people are counting on me to win this lawsuit, because other people had experienced the same things that I went through, and I felt as if they were watching me and they wanted me to succeed. They were rooting for me, and I wanted to live up to that. And at one point in the case, I was actually without a lawyer and was under an intense time constraint to find a new one. Now, unfortunately, after all this time and all the pressure I put on myself, I wasn't able to find a new lawyer, and so I had to call an end to the case. Now, looking back at my old YouTube videos, I see the same person, me, but I feel like I can't really relate to him very much. That person in those old YouTube videos, he had never taken on anything so massive and so put himself under so much pressure and stress before. It's permanently changed me in a way that I can't undo. My former identity was someone who liked to remain under the radar and didn't like to disrupt things too much and just liked to keep with the flow. And there were moments in my life where I'd taken on bullies, but I never once thought that I had it in me to take on such powerful entities all by myself. I guess when I look at my past self, it reminds me of a philosophical question that I had heard in one of my philosophy classes in university and college. It was about this, and this isn't exact, but it was about this metaphor of take a ship that's built out of wood planks, and then imagine if all but one of the wood planks had been removed and a new plank had been put in. At what point does it become a different ship? That is how I feel, and I feel like that is something I struggle with. It isn't something that's good, because no matter what happens outside you and around you, and no matter the internal changes, you are still you as a person. And it's an identity crisis that I struggle with, and it's something I have to work through every day. I have to accept my new reality, but I also want to take the good parts from my old self with me. And after all is said and done, who am I really? I need to get a real water bottle. I keep just putting my water inside these like plastic containers. I don't know. I guess this is the first time I've really let anyone see the inside of my apartment besides myself and my parents, so I gotta get used to it. So this part is more personal. It's about when you upset powerful people, it changes your psyche. What it did for me was it made me hyper-vigilant and paranoid, and it forces you to reconsider what is and isn't a safe move. Now, of course, right now I'm safe and the lawsuit's over. I don't want anyone to worry about my safety. I'm totally okay. I guess the question is, would someone rather die than have their ego destroyed? And I think so. And I think that's, out of all of the things I've put myself through, that's the one thing I've learned this year. I think I would rather, instead of talking about that, I want to focus on this period of my life during the lawsuit that was fascinating and memorable in so many ways. So there was this period of time where I didn't have a lawyer for my case and I needed to find one. And I was in the part of the country where the lawsuit was taking place, and I didn't really have anywhere to live while I was out there. And I'm also young and I didn't have the money. I did have a place to live, but it was in another state. So what I did was I resorted to camping in the woods for 2 weeks. What I would do is I would camp in the woods outside of the city. Then I would take from my campsite just like a really cheap bus ride into one town where I would shower, shop, do my laundry and stuff, or at least I attempted to do my laundry. I had enough clothes on me. And I had a camp set up in the mountains, and it was perfectly legal what I was doing. On national forest land, if you don't know, you can camp for up to, I think, 2 weeks or a month in one spot. Don't quote me on that. And then what I would do is I would take bus rides into the city, and I would look for attorneys. I would try to find lawyers. I would send emails, I would look and look and look, and unfortunately I wasn't able to come up with, I did come up with some options, but they were too expensive, and so I wasn't able to continue the lawsuit at the time. But that experience was in a moment of extreme stress and honestly some fright. It was this moment of serenity, because where I was camping, it was so peaceful. There's near a waterfall, there's nature everywhere, there's trees, it was in the mountains, it was quiet, and every night when I would go to bed, I would read books, and then when I was in town where I had internet connections, I would watch YouTubers. And so my main YouTubers I would watch were like Pyro Live, Moist Critical, Mutahar, and Edificator Z. Those are the 4 main ones I would watch. And the thing about YouTubers like Moist Critical and Pyro Live and Mutahar and people like him is that, you know, they upload almost every day, if not every day. And other YouTubers I watch, they upload weekly, every other week, every maybe 2-3 times a week. And it's that consistency in the midst of chaos that brought me so much comfort. And watching YouTube, you know, and hanging out in nature and reading books in a moment of intense stress and anxiety, it was the only thing that got me through it. Because I was all alone out there when I was camping in the woods. And in that moment, it felt like I had created for myself a big adventure. And it sounds kind of silly, but it's true. That's what it felt like. And I felt like that my life had this newfound sense of purpose and meaning. Although I would not recommend doing this to anyone, since it was a bit dangerous. I'm not gonna lie. What I will say is upsetting relatively powerful and, in my opinion, bad people, you know, for whoever's watching, there's a chance it will come with some extra baggage that you might not expect. I don't want to say anymore. Alright, I'm back. I got my mustache fixed. It was a little uneven in some of the other videos, but yeah, hope no one notices. These posters here, here's one of them. They keep falling down. I put them up on the wall here. And I had these special like sticky sticker things right here. Every time I put them on, they fall off. Okay, so this next bit is going to be about losing everything and having to rebuild myself back up. So at one point this year, I was basically stripped to nothing. I lost my phone, my wallet, my IDs, my car keys, and my car was impounded. And in the midst of all that, I was even locked out of my Google account, which meant I couldn't upload YouTube videos. And in the worst of those moments where I had almost nothing left, the world felt so desolate, and I felt like the last person living on planet Earth. And what I've discovered is that when you go through multiple life-altering changes in a very short period of time, it makes it basically impossible to be the same person once you're on the other side, even if you don't want to change at all. And such is the case with me. But what helped was to sort of ground my identity and my experiences, my memories, in moments of lightheartedness and laughter, not just as a break from everything or a relief from the stress, but almost as a way to anchor my personality to something simple, normal, and consistent. And unsurprising to anyone who would know me, I created many of these moments with YouTube videos I liked. There's one video I really like with Gabe Newell, where he gets approached on the street by these 3 random guys cosplaying as musicians for the Beatles.
Who are you?
I'm Gabe Newell.
Are you a Beatle?
No.
Is there anybody else here?
No, it's just me, Gabe Newell.
Oh, I thought there'd be like Homo Curtis. Yeah, or at least like Ringo or something. Do you want to pretend to be Ringo?
Yes, I do.
I would find myself in really stressful moments just going and playing that video, and it reminded me of who I was before all this. Another thing I would do is there's this old video from Pyrocynical's YouTube channel where he's like putting on makeup because he likes to cross-dress, and I would just play that song on repeat when I was in really, really scary situations.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Bum, 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 bum. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Bum, 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 bum.
And it just helped me feel safe and okay, even though ultimately nothing outside of my mind was protecting me from any danger. I think looking back, it's the sort of like indie and organic feeling from these videos that made me feel grounded. And for me, it was the lightheartedness of their content that offered this consistent basis of that I could claim with confidence I related to and cherished, no matter how much things around me changed, and no matter how many times my internal self was shattered and put back together. Oh, I just broke this chair. Wow. Well, in spirit of the video, at least I have a chair. So this year has been insane. And I wish I would have uploaded more. I don't want every video to be so heavy. And this isn't part of why I'm doing this. I want to make videos for you guys, but I also am doing this, to be honest, for myself. Because I miss making YouTube videos. And I miss doing something that I've loved doing for so many years now. There was this time when I was, I had flown all the way from where I live to Seattle in Washington State, here in America, and I remember I had gotten up there for 2 days. I would have to explain, it'd be a long video to explain why I went up there, but there's this memory. It's the calmest and most peaceful episode of bliss I've had this year. It was this time when I was on this bus in this suburb of Seattle, and it was raining, but it was this slow and steady rain, and this bus was almost empty, and it was calm and quiet, and my head was rested like this against the window of the bus, and in that one moment everything felt okay, and all my worries just fell down away from me.
But it's a lonely city. Sometimes I walk all night without being seen.